Playoff football is finally here in Division Three, where Hope College takes on Wisconsin La Crosse. This is a team from the WIAC, and if anyone doesn't know about the WIAC, it's a very stacked conference full of playoff teams, full of teams that are in the top 25. You have a couple of examples. Alma's playing a team from the WIAC, Wisconsin Platteville. You have Wisconsin River Falls. You have Wisconsin Oshkosh. You also have Wisconsin Whitewater as well. Like, these are all teams that are very high up in the top 25. All were ranked in the top 25 at least once this season and really have kept their top 25 rank for the majority of them, besides Wisconsin Oshkosh. But this is a team that is very, very much tested. This is a team going into Hope. This is a home game for Hope, which I think is obviously going to play an advantage to Hope because Hope plays really, really well at home, especially against really good opponents. But this is not going to be an easy matchup for Hope whatsoever. This is a Wisconsin La Crosse team that is one that's willing and able to put up quite a few points. They put up 32 points per game, and it really truly seemed like the games that La Crosse won was games that the defense really showed up for them. And I'm not saying that this La Crosse team can't score points, because they definitely can. Like, they put up 31 points against the University of Wisconsin Stout. They've also put up 44 points against Wisconsin Oshkosh. They put up 21 points against Wisconsin Platteville. They put up 41-23. They won in double overtime against Wisconsin Whitewater early on in the season. This is a La Crosse team that, when they have a very good defensive performance, and they definitely had that against Wisconsin Stevens Point to end the season before going into playoffs, this is a Wisconsin La Crosse team that is really, really difficult to beat. Now, this is a defense that has given up a little bit on the ground. They give up about 120 yards on the ground. They also give up 190 yards through the air. So I think this is a Hope team that should be able to at least run, should be able to attack this La Crosse team. I also think this is a La Crosse team that is going to try to have a pretty good balance when it comes to pass, when it comes to running the ball as well. They're definitely a little bit more pass heavy at times, but this is a team that has also shown the ability to run the ball as well. They have 317 attempts this year running the ball, averages about 4 yards per carry, about 150 yards on the ground per game, 14 touchdowns as well. This is a La Crosse team that can get it done both ways, through the air and on the ground as well. You also have to really think a little bit about the quarterback position. Can Wisconsin La Crosse's quarterback Kyle Haas run the ball? And he's a guy that has shown a little bit of an ability to run it. I don't think he's going to be a guy that's going to be truly focusing on his legs. I think he's going to be a guy that's going to obviously be more dependent on throwing the ball, which throwing the ball, if you look at it, he's been pretty good overall when it comes to not only touchdown to interception ratio, but completion percentage as well. He has a 16-6 touchdown to interception ratio. So basically he throws like 2.5 touchdowns per one interception. He is about 70% completion rate as well, a little bit below that, but he's a guy that truly is able to get his guys going. And I think one really guy in this game, especially at the wide receiver position, that Hope's really going to have to keep an eye on is Jack Janke. He's been his main guy, 895 yards this year, 10 touchdowns. He has over half the touchdown receptions from Kyle than anyone else. Like, that just shows you that this is a guy that is a go-to guy. I think Hope's going to obviously keep an eye on him for the most part. I do wonder if they kind of have a little bit of help over top if they put their best cover corner on him. But Jack's going to be a guy that's going to be really a main focus, especially for the secondary. You also have Tyler Bowman as well, 4 touchdowns on the year. If you talk about the 16 touchdowns that Kyle has thrown this year, those two guys account for 14 of the 16. That's just a dramatic difference of like who he's going to go to, especially when it comes down to the red zone. But it's not only that. Like, these guys are guys that are pretty big players, because Tyler averages about 12 yards a catch. Jack averages about 13 yards a catch. Like these are guys that if you get the ball into their hands, they truly are playmakers that can cause you issues. Now we know Hope has been pretty good defensively this year. I think if you look at both sides of these teams, I think you really have to say that Hope overall, statistically on paper, it makes sense that they would win this game. Now, if you look at like rankings and stuff like that, La Crosse is ranked a little bit higher than Hope. Now, obviously, with how the playoffs went, Hope is hosting this game. I've talked about at the very beginning how Hope has been very, very good at defending home field. They don't lose at Ray and Sue Smith Stadium very often. The only time they lost this year was to a really good Elma team that is also in the playoffs going against Wisconsin Platteville. That was a really close game. That's still going to be a game that's going to be talked about for a really long time for how it ended. Hope, you could argue, should be very much undefeated at this point. Maybe they're not playing a La Crosse team. Like, you don't necessarily know. But what truly matters is obviously this matchup. It matters about who's going to be the guys that La Crosse is going to try to go to. And it's obviously those two guys through the air, but you also have to look at a little bit at the ground game as well. Gabe Lynch is going to be their main running back for La Crosse. He has almost 600 yards on the ground, 6 touchdowns. It's going to be him and Braden Ott probably for the most part. There's a couple other guys that have contributed here and there, but I think this is going to be a game full of like the go-to kind of guys. And we have seen this La Crosse team perform really well against some really top opponents, but this is a Hope team that has also done that same exact thing. This is a Hope team that has a guy in Liam Danitz on the other side. I think he's going to cause him a bunch of issues. He was and is the MIAA Defensive Player of the Year, rightfully so. You also have multiple other guys on the other side of the ball as well. The offense, you have to talk about the wide receiver position. You have to talk about the running back position. You have to talk about the offensive line. Like, this is going to be fully a matchup between who can run the ball effectively in this game and who's going to win the line of scrimmage. That's what a lot of these games truly come down to when it comes to playoff football, is the importance of winning the line of scrimmage. If you can win the line of scrimmage, like we saw what Ferris State did against Northwood, it's going to make things a lot easier. And I think the real important part of not only winning the line of scrimmage is winning the game from the get-go. And I think when Hope has been really good throughout the season, Hope's been the team that has gotten out to a fast start. And I don't think this is going to be a game that is going to be completely a blowout game. I don't think it's going to be what it was like last year in the playoffs for Hope in the first round. I don't think that's going to be the case. With that being said, what I've been seeing from Hope recently, I am really confident in my predictions that Hope's going to win this game. Now, we can obviously talk about this game, and we'll talk about this game after it happens. If they do win this game, they're going to probably get North Central. That's a whole nother kind of juggernaut that's coming in. Hope just needs to focus on this game. I think they have enough offensively. I think defensively, that defensive line will cause La Crosse issues. But this is a team that you cannot look past. This is a La Crosse team that has played some of the top teams really close. This is a La Crosse team that has beaten some of those top teams. This is a La Crosse team that's also gotten blown out by some of those top teams, like Wisconsin River Falls. Like, this is a team that has been tested. And the last couple weeks, besides Adrian, Hope hasn't need to be tested at this point. I think this is going to be a team that's going to be prepared. They have an extra week prepared. Obviously, La Crosse does as well. They're going to be ready. They're going to be prepared under Coach Sturzma. The coaching staff's going to be ready. They're going to have a really electric atmosphere. There's a real possibility it's going to snow on Saturday as well. So it's a real possibility that Hope needs to get out to a good start. I think they will. I think Hope will win this game, and we'll be talking about how they did that after Saturday. But let me know in the comments what you think. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? I just think Hope, when it comes to line of scrimmage, when it comes to the playmakers, especially at the wide receiver position, when it comes to running the ball, I think Hope just wins this because I think Hope has more weapons, at least offensively, when it comes to both sides and both teams. I think defensively, I think Hope's going to be able to get stops. But there's a couple of guys on La Crosse that I'm a little concerned about. But this La Crosse team is in the playoffs for a reason. Like, they're really, really good. And you cannot underestimate anyone. This is going to be a good game. It's going to be a fun game. It's about getting off to a fast start. And I think Hope does that. And I think because of that, they do win it. But yeah, like I said, let me know in the comments. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? If you like it, please feel free to share with friends, family, all that kind of stuff. Please subscribe. Try and grow YouTube. Try and grow this page overall. Try and grow this podcast. Love talking about these teams. So please subscribe. Please share. And I will talk about this game later next week.